At one point this season, your University of St. Francis football team was left for dead. But the Cougs have persevered. And following this past Saturday's 33-23 win over number 12 Baker, USF is back in the NAIA Football Championship Series semifinal game for the fourth straight year. An outstanding accomplishment by a group who knows how to win.
You know, I am really extremely proud of our players and our coaching staff. You know, I look back at the 16, 17 teams. Boy, we did some fantastic things. I don't think people realize how difficult it was to accomplish what was accomplished. Hats off again to players and coaches. But you know, you go into the year of the goal of the trifecta. You had 7 starters graduating offense, National Player of the Year. You got 3 starters on defense that were significant contributors. So here you go. Toughest conference and schedule. All of ours happened to be, I think we had 5 in a row that were nationally ranked. You go through all of the injuries that we've had. 2 key players, 1 on defense with Harnish and 1 on offense with Green, that you had to go through a great percentage of the season in that particular run where we stubbed our toe a couple of times. And to be here in the Final Four, it is absolutely amazing. I couldn't be prouder of the character and the grit of our players and coaches and the desire to be the best. We've given it our best shot. I'm excited about getting on a bus Thursday and going to Morningside. I think a lot of Steve Ryan. I think he's a class act. Done a great job. I spent some time with him 12, 15 years ago when he first got started out there. We played him in the playoffs a couple times back to back. They were good. And I just thought that guy had a lot of charisma. I knew he was going to do a good job there, and he certainly has done that. So they've been there knocking on the door. We've had them in this week. You know, the last couple years, it's been dogfights. It's gone down to the wire. We've come out with what, 6, 7 8-point wins every year. And last year was one of those crazy years where a kicker gets hurt. He can't kick, so you know we got to go for 2. He didn't make any. Still came out on top. So you know, we find a way under difficult circumstances, and that's what I expect again.
All season long, the Cougs have been finding a way to get it done, like defensive end Mitchell Thornbury, who ranks number 4 on the team with 9.5 tackles for a loss. He was named the Defensive Player of the Game against the Wildcats after taking an interception 75 yards to the house, helping to seal the game for USF.
Baker took their slot. My receiver did a little bit of a jet motion. Instead of handing it off, they did that pitch concept, and slot muffed it, some mishap, and I just happened to be right place at the right time, and just instincts went off and grabbed the ball, and then I just took off. Fourth quarter, you know, it was a pivotal time in the game. I can see what they were trying to do, knock the ball out, but luckily, you know, they didn't push me out of bounds or anything, which I was expecting them to do. They just both went after the ball, but wasn't going for that, so I just kept trucking along and got that touchdown.
Well, I thought they might catch him, but I thought they might have to ride him for 20 or 30 yards. You know, that young man has come such a long way since he first started here. He's got parents that are supportive and yet they're tough on him, and you know, but he's going to be good at whatever he does. And I was so happy for him to get that opportunity to take one to the house and to get the Defensive Player of the Game. Kudos to him, man. He's well deserved.
Looked like Baker never had a chance to bring down Big Thornberry, who came into St. Francis as a linebacker and made the transition to defensive end.
At first, I was pretty shocked. I remember our last winter weights. You know, I put about 40 pounds on in about 4 months. So went from like 200 to about 240, 235. It was pretty crazy. But Coach Miller came up to me, said, we're gonna move you rush, defensive end. I was kind of thrown off at first, really wasn't expecting it, but I just trusted them. I'm athletic enough to like make the transition. And, just from being in 2-point to a 3-point stance was kind of different, but, it's basically the same principles. So I actually only playing it for 2 years. I kind of enjoy D-line more than linebacker now, so.
Thornberry has been invaluable at the position that's been hit hard with injury throughout the year. And now with players getting healthier, Mitchell's game helps add to the depth to a defense that ranks number 3 in the NAIA, only giving up 100 rushing yards per game.
We've dealt with so much adversity this year, and I think we've handled it pretty well. But with guys going down, it's just that next man up. We take, basically get the same reps throughout practice. We do the same drills. It's just, one man, just because you're the starter, and you're maybe your number 2, it doesn't matter. Something could happen in any second. James goes down with an ankle, Vanover up. Malachi goes down with an ankle in Lindenwood, and then I'm next up. So, we're just always prepared, always ready for that moment. I think that's why we've come so far where we are today, because, every guy is just like, we're ready. We know what's next. We know what to do. We have the potential, and we just have that championship atmosphere and that culture that it really doesn't affect us as much as people think it should. I think we're really good fundamentally. That goes in with practice, with our drills that we run. Every man just knows their job. They know what to do. They just execute to the best that they can. And I just think that this year there's a lot of experience definitely with Harnish and Dunton. Those 2 leaders definitely helps a lot. Just us coming together, being brothers, just the amount of time that we spend together, and that really starts to add up, and you start trusting each other more. It's that bond you create, and then when you get out on that field, man, it's awesome, because Chulo makes a sack, James makes a sack, tackle for loss, Dunton, get to celebrate with your brothers, and just that combination is pretty lethal with us right now.
Speaking of a lethal combination, in round 1, receiver Rocky James took home the MVP honors. This past week, it was receiver Dan Rixey, who was flipping excited to receive the award.
What an athlete. Yeah, you start doing flips, the guy could be in the Olympics as a gymnast. Huh? So Danny's a great player, Rocky's a great player. They're a great team together. And you're receiving core players of the week back to back. But it's about the 11 guys all at once functioning as a unit. Somebody's going to make a big play that makes a difference. Danny made a couple. So excited for Danny. Excited for our football team, what lies ahead.
And what lies ahead is another matchup with Morningside. Some publications had the Mustangs ranked number 1 entering the season, and they've held down the top spot ever since the Cougs lost to Marion.
They're an outstanding football team. They're extremely efficient in their execution offensively, and their quarterback's the key guy. And they got a lot of quick passing game, play action pass game. The guy makes throws. He puts the ball where it needs to be. They got a great running back. They got a great support group in their receiving core. Their offensive line solid. Their defensive front, their interior people are probably as good as we've seen. They're so well coached, and they're number 1 for a reason. And that all results in an opportunity for us. Look at all the things that we've had to deal with and overcome. And this one's going to be another one.
Yeah, I think people are extremely underestimating this game. I don't know about for Morningside, but I know for us, we play 4 ranked opponents that are in our conference. So, we've been down. We've lost 2 games. We came back and beat Siena Heights. Like, we have, a resume of just being, adversity striking, and we just reply back. It's just, I think our offense is going to come together, execute our defense. We're going to have a great game plan, and we're just going to execute also. Like I said, Morningside's a good team, but we just have to be better.
And what a ball game this will be. The Mustangs were knocked out of the playoffs the past 2 seasons after their visit to Bishop Darcy Stadium. And now that the game is in Sioux City, the prediction makers are giving the edge to Morningside. And that's just fine for the NAIA back-to-back national champion Cougs.
That's fine. I've always loved being the underdog. I just take pride in that. And you know, Morningsides, they're good, they're efficient, they execute. But I personally don't think they've been challenged. And we're just going to go, we're going to drop, we're going to travel, we're going to get our practice in this week through Thursday, leave that Thursday afternoon, and we're going to be prepped, we're going to be ready, and you know, I think we're going to give them a run for the money.
Well, I'll tell you this much. I think they're extremely good, as I said, offensively. They're efficient. But I don't believe they've seen a secondary like ours or a defense like ours. So it's going to be a great matchup. I'm glad I'm going to have good seats.